If you are dating for marriage, you must pay attention to this first. We're going to talk about it, but before we do...
And we're Terrence and Jill of God-ordained union, and we're here to do one thing and one thing only, and that is help increase God-ordained unions.
Yes, yes, yes. And, but not just marriage to anybody. It's to your unique person. And so if we can do our little part, that's what we are here to do. So if you're single and you've been praying for marriage, desiring marriage, and you probably feel like, where's your person and why isn't he or she taking so long?
I think you're the only one going through what you're going through, that nobody else has ever gone through that before and don't understand you. Feel like you don't qualify for marriage. Feel like God isn't hearing you anymore. Feel like you've gotten too old and you passed the age of getting married. All of those are lies and what the enemy would want you to believe.
So we were there. We know how you feel. I was 48 when I came across Terrence's outdated profile on a dating site. And I was 52 when we got married.
I was 54 when I watched her walk down the aisle.
Yes. So you're not... We ain't just telling you this stuff. We've been there.
So we know exactly how you feel.
We know how you feel. So on this channel, we encourage singles who desire marriage. And so please subscribe. Please turn on your notifications. We go live every Tuesday
at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, yes. We do pre-recorded videos like this one where we live chat every Sunday and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have a private group that meets off of here the first and third Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have one-on-ones if you desire a one-on-one. We are available. Also, we have a prayer call. We have a prayer call that meets every Friday night at 11:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time into midnight. And so to find out about all of that, you can go down below to the description, or you can go to our website, www.godordainedunion.com, www.godordainedunion.com. Yeah. All right. We also have an ebook, and it's for the ladies, and we got to put this out there because a lot of women are struggling with feeling stuck and feeling blocked, and they don't know why. And it could be a number of reasons, from generational patterns. It could be unforgiveness. It could be soul ties. It could be a lot of things that is blocking you up. And so to know and understand how to release that thing, because a lot of times it's in the mind, a lot. And so get the ebook. All right. And the information is below, or you can go to our website. All right. So we've got to talk about this. We're seeing a lot of comments in the under videos, and there's a pattern of it. And then of course there's quite a few that we're meeting with that's also experiencing this. And it's basically who they are attracting, who they are. And if you fall into this, who you are attracting. And so you're attracting the same old quote unquote negative person, male or female. So if you've been rocking with us for a while, you know this. But those of you who have not, we usually focus on three core things when it comes to a relationship or meeting a prospect. The attraction, which is what pushes you towards someone. And usually it's physical, or their style, or, you like the way they carry themselves. So that's the attraction. That just gets you in the door. Then there's a connection, which is really, after you meet the person, you start to bond with that person. It's how that person makes you feel when y'all together, what's connecting you all together. It could be, we like to say, she spoke to the king in him, or, he He affirmed her. It's how the two of you are bonding together and how, you're making a connection. And then there's covenant, and that usually that comes at the engagement. So there's attraction, connection, and covenant. But what we're realizing, there's something missing. There's something missing, and I think we've taken it for granted. And I want to say, and this is not tooting our horn, we're going to talk about this. This is not tooting our horn, but I think one of the things that Terrence and I were strong in is that we had strong self-awareness. And so because there's not a lot of nurturing in this thing, what you're attracting is coming from a place of an unhealed place, or it's coming from a place of not knowing 100% who you are. And we're going to talk about it because I was there at one time. So, husband.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that one thing that they need to know before attraction, before they start pushing themselves to be attracted to someone? What's that one thing that they maybe that they need to know?
The one thing you need to understand before you even consider everything else that she just said, from attraction to connection to covenant, you need to understand compatibility.
Woo!
Compatibility.
Okay, so I know before you talk about the four core that at the minimum that compatibility. Let me just say this. This is one of the reasons why I love dating sites.
Okay.
And it's probably the reason why
go ahead. I follow you because I think it makes it, when we take it for granted, that dating site has it built in.
Yes. So, yes.
So even if you don't understand
that
you missing it.
You're missing it.
They're putting it in there.
They're putting it in.
They put it in their process without you knowing that it's in the process.
Right.
So it's covered through default because you went through.
And I think that's why we hadn't really talked about it.
Right.
So for instance, eHarmony has, they match you on 29 parts of compatibility. So when you go to fill out your profile, that's what they're doing. And so for instance, and so even the dating site that I met Terrence on, which I'm not going to say what it is, but we were matched like at 98%, 97% compatibility. And so it hadn't even dawned on me that, and this is the thing, because we took our time to like do these profiles, it made us we were able to feed who we are. And so, and I think a lot of people, when they go on, like, say, a dating site, like, take your time to answer, because you really learn who you are. And so I think that what is happening is that a lot of people aren't nurturing and understanding and taking the time to get to know who they are. And I'm saying outside of a dating site. The dating site just happened to help us. Like, it really kind of like, let me think about that. But compatibility. So let's talk about this.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit 4 different areas of compatibility that, if at a minimum, when you meet someone, you need to be checking these out to make sure that there is a compatibility in these areas. If for no other reason, to make sure you got more than just that attraction. Number 1, and we always talk about this first, and it's spiritual. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know that the two of you are compatible spiritually, that you both are individually seeking God. You both individually truly have God directing your lives and ordering your steps. You want to make sure y'all have that in common. Okay. That's the bare minimum. From the very beginning, you want to know that.
The spiritual beliefs.
You want to know that you two are in alignment and you're compatible, both of you in that area. Okay. You want to make sure that y'all are equally yoked.
Yes.
Okay. You got to know that off the gate.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't know your level of spirituality, not okay. So there are always a lot of questions or comments in the comment area and under videos that says something like, "What if he's not on my level of what if he's not on my level of spirituality?" And so you really have to understand who you are in Christ, who Christ is, before you can judge another person, because being equally yoked could mean just, is he or she a believer? Are they, Christ followers or Christians? Or they, because you could, are we Catholic? Or are we Baptist? Or you got to understand the difference between how you practice your faith and your belief.
Right.
And so,
and this is how this looks. It's simple as this. You both believe in God. You both pray. You both believe. You both are reading the word. You both are studying. You know what I mean? It's like she said, it's not saying you've been saved longer than this person, or you have gone through certain types of
Bible studies.
Yeah, and this person don't. It's not trying to put you as saying y'all have to be at the exact same spot, because no two people are alike.
Right. Just means that you're compatible in that area.
Yes.
And this is the thing. If you got to know this first, these four first, before you even meet the person, because this is going to determine who you attract.
Right.
And who you can identify before you start to say, oh, he's cute. You need to, you know what I mean? You need to really be firm in your spiritual beliefs. And so, because
So 1 Corinthians 14:33 says, God is not the author of confusion. So don't go into this thinking, am I, you need to have these questions answered beforehand. So when you meet that person, you already know you. Now you're looking for them. You're looking at them.
You're looking
you want to see who they are.
Before I'm gonna be attracted to you, before I want to, you cute and all, but are we compatible?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Number two is lifestyle. You want to be compatible in your lifestyle. You want to know that y'all have very similar desires. Your lifestyle about family, about children. You want to know that y'all are compatible in different parts of your life. And the thing is, and Jill always says this, y'all heard her say this many times, those you've been rocking with us, that when she read my profile, she said it was like she was reading her own. It's because we was compatible. Yeah. We wrote or write similar things about ourselves. So when one of us read the other, it's almost like I could have wrote something that she wrote about herself and vice versa.
Right.
So you just want to know that y'all are very similar in what you're trying to do. It's what's important to me about our lifestyle. My lifestyle is also important to her about her lifestyle.
So one of the things we were compatible about is family dynamics.
Yes.
We both have big families, and so you can, so you say you meet a person, and automatically you're attracted to, I don't know, their looks, their hairstyle. I don't know. You're attracted to them, but you realize, so you're attracted to them. And so because you're attracted to them and you're not firm in what your lifestyle is. And I think this is where a lot of people, because a lot of people don't live and truly figure out who they are, that's in their 20s, because their lifestyle, there's untapped things that's in their lifestyle that's going untapped. And so when they meet somebody, they cannot match the compatibility with another person's lifestyle because they have not even nurtured their own lifestyle. And so this is what happens in real time. You're just compatible on the church level, on spiritual level. And so you get married to somebody or you start dating somebody, you're attracted to them, you met them at church, but y'all got totally different. You don't even.
You was brought up totally different.
Totally different.
Lifestyles,
totally different lifestyles.
You know, one of you was brought up in the country, the other was brought up in the city. One is a single child, an only child.
Only child.
The other has 5 or 6 brothers or siblings or so forth.
Right.
Y'all have nothing compatible other than the fact that you go to the same church.
Right, which can make some challenges in the relationship if you don't understand lifestyle and what type of, y'all could meet on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at church, but outside of church. And so that's where a lot of us fell victim because we only were compatible to the guys in the church. And then because, that's a whole nother topic, but
And it's all about, and it's not saying that because one of you was a single child and the only child and the other one has siblings
that you can't
be together. It's just saying you need to be aware.
You need to be aware.
You understand what the dynamics are, so you understand how to respond and react and support each other in those differences.
Right. So because I know for me, it was difficult for me to have girlfriends that were only children, because they didn't understand how to share or how to, they didn't understand. There was it was like sometimes they would come across a little, to me, spoiled and selfish. And, they couldn't understand, so for a long time, like my best girlfriends, all of them had, and it goes deeper. Because not only did the girlfriends that I desired my girlfriends to not be only children, but they needed to have sisters, because I knew that there was going to be, just from understanding my life pattern, I knew that there was going to be some friction if they didn't understand the closeness of like there was, and it just turned out that way. Like I have 2 girlfriends, 2. I got a lot of girlfriends, but I have 2 that are only child. They're the only child. All of my other girlfriends all have a lot of siblings and sisters, because those are the ones who I get along better with. We connect. There's a better connection. We get to the attraction, then the connection is a better connection. But that goes with really understanding and knowing who you are. So when I meet somebody and they're the only child, or they just have a brother, I have to deal with them a different type of way. I know I have to kind of almost go and guard it. Because, so with Terrence, when Terrence came in, and, I knew exactly who I was, but when I read his profile, everything that he was saying in his profile, there was, first of all, the site matched us and said we were compatible. So I knew we had compatibility. But when we met each other, and he was saying, he got all these brothers and sisters, it was like the compatibility was being confirmed. Like, wow, this is deep. So
and that's huge, because here's the thing. Like, for an example, we both, like she just said, big families. So when it's time to go to family reunions, when it's time to go to family functions, when it's time to one of us or one of our siblings is cooking out and the invites go out, it's like an only child might not understand how important it is to go to those as often as you can.
Right.
Because you grew up doing these things.
When a sibling needs money.
Yeah, it's like
listen, we understand that, we understand that dynamic. We're compatible in that area. We always say this, we both from the hood. So we both understand we're compatible in that area. We know the lifestyle that we both grew up in. We're compatible in that area. And so again, I can't stress this enough. When you know who you are, these are the two that we covered. As far as your lifestyle, what you really, really, how you like to live, and what you know who you are in your beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, that's what attracts your person.
Look, that helps conversations go.
It helps, yes,
because you almost start conversations on the same side of the conversation or the issue or the concern or whatever it is you're talking about. Because you just have those in common because of your lifestyle.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, here's one that we talk about a lot. Okay. This is talking about your character. Okay. You want to have compatibility with character. Of course, the fruit of the Spirit. Okay. But this also includes your core beliefs.
Integrity.
Your integrity and being accountable and being honest and trustworthy. And you want to be compatible across the board with that. Okay. Because you want to know that the person that you're standing in front of, you can count on. Yeah. And what they say is what they mean. They're going to do what they say.
So if you're a cheater, if you think that, is nothing wrong with, having, as long as if your character is, as long as, I'm not sleeping with the person, I believe that, in my relationships, I can have friends, that, as long as that's the type of, that's what you're going to attract. That's who you are. That's who you're going to attract.
Absolutely. And it's like this too. When compatibility shows up, it's almost like your heart feels like you're at peace. You have peace. You're relaxed. You're settled in. You're home. You're home. So when we talk about how a person should draw you closer to God when you meet them versus repelling you from God, it's the same thing with the compatibility. When compatibility shows up, you should feel peace.
You should feel peace.
You should feel at home because the person that you're with makes you feel at home. Okay? So it shouldn't be any type of confusion or uneasiness, or now you got anxiety when you're around the person, or when you leave that person's presence, you're stressed out. For what?
Yeah. And that character also, when you hear people say, what the Bible says that they were a mirror of me. They were a reflection of me. That's because your characters, they match. I'm telling you, I feel like I've known Terrence. I feel like he's my brother. Like when I met him, like in my family, I was the one who I'm always on time. I'm going to always be within 15 minutes before or after. I'm not going to be later than 15 minutes to a family event, or I'm not going to probably come more than 15 minutes before. I'm always on time. I'm going to be there at the end to make sure it's help clean up. That's my character. Yeah. That's my character. When I met Terrence, he on steroids to the part where, dude, it's
I'm an hour early.
Yes. And it's like, take it easy. Like, I'm coming.
And I'm standing right up.
But but that's who I knew that about myself, and that's who I attracted. Like somebody on steroids. Like, So
that's how we are.
Knowing your character, I'm telling you, dig deep into your character and who you are.
Yeah, because
get to learn who you are.
As fun as it is, learning who you are, you want to know that before you meet somebody.
Yes.
And you need them to be able to see who you are when they see you, when they're watching you, when they're talking to you, your emotions, everything that you're doing. They need to be able to read your body language and say, I know this person is XYZ.
And I can't cross no boundaries.
Who they are.
And it could, because if you don't know who you are, people going to define you and tell you who you are. That's why you hear a lot of guys say, you're not wife material. You're not ready to be a wife. Who are you to tell me who? And it comes from because you showed up not knowing who you are, not knowing your character, not knowing really deeply who you are.
People will test you until
they
you
will.
show them that you're not to be tested.
Right. And you carry that in your presence without even opening your mouth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the fourth area that we're going to talk about is mutual intentions. Now, what is that? That's knowing up front that both of you, especially when it comes to marriage, because you want to know that both of you are going into the dating scene, both looking for marriage. Look, y'all can love, both of you can love the Lord, but one of you can be dating just for companionship, and the other one is dating because they're looking for a spouse.
And for a purpose partner.
Yes. So you need to understand that up front. You need to know that y'all are compatible in what you're looking for in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Y'all are out there on the dating scene, but you're both looking for marriage. You're both looking for a covenant. You're both looking for, someone that's going to share everything that you're doing. You're both looking for family, to build a family. You're both looking for, have the similar ambitions. You're both looking for, got the same type of drive. All of those things you want to be compatible.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And I would say in this, you also want to know and understand that there's going to be some areas where you differ, but they should complement each other.
Yeah.
Where one of you is strong, the other one may be weak. But where that person is strong, you might be weak. So you want to be able to support each other. You want to be able to be complementary to each other. That's the word. Be complementary to each other. Yeah. And what y'all bring to the table.
Nobody's a perfect match. Nobody's. Terrence is left-handed. I'm right-handed. And I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes it drives me crazy. I'm like, why didn't you turn this way? The parking spot is this way. Terrence would turn that way. It is like, what? So, yeah, nobody is
perfect. Is perfect.
Nobody's perfect. But when you know who you are, you know who you are best compatible with. And I know when I was saying, I remember we had went on a date. One of our first dates. It was like the first date since it had opened. We went to Chili's. And I remember saying to Terrence, I said, I'm looking for somebody who, all of these gifts, talents, and skills. I need somebody who is going to land right. Is going to land on a person who can catch what I'm bringing to the table, and vice versa.
Yeah. So the compatibility is huge.
It's huge.
And if you have never thought about it, you need to put some serious thought in it, like right now.
So let me give you a real life situation. And I'm going to tell you how this looks in real time. So I was brought up in the church, born and raised in the church. And so my first 3 situationships, which one of them was my first love, were guys that I had met from church. They were all church boys. 3 guys that I had met from church. All 3 came from big families. And so from the age of like 17 till I was 25. So it was 3 different guys. And that's all I knew because church was our life. And that's all we did. Now, other than I hadn't gone to college because I graduated from high school. In high school, I worked a federal government job in high school. I left school early. You know how they do the half a day and you go to work. And so So I came out of high school and went straight into the federal government. And so, and other than going to work, my other part of my life was just church. Everything was church. Even that's what my best friends were. So when I turned 25, I got my heart break by the third guy. My first and only heartbreak. My first heartbreak in my 20s, but it was three guys, but he was the last one. Got my heart broken. And I was at the place, and that's when I ended up moving to Charlotte. And because I was like, I just need a change. And then I had to end up coming back from Charlotte. So I was working on my job, the federal government, and a guy came to work for us as a contractor. And he was very smart guy, very couple of years older than me, very, very astute. And our cubicles were right next to each other. So just me being me, I'm just welcoming him. He was very book smart. He had graduated from Howard, and I think he was studying for a Series 7 or a Series 63, one of those stockbroken tests he was studying for. And so, but he was coming and he was doing some statistics or whatever for the contract or whatever. And so I'll never forget, he said to me one day, he was like, do you know what, the eating places are, the restaurant? I was like, yeah, well, you can come, I could take you or whatever, go around. And so we went and got some lunch, some carry out to bring back to the office. And we just started talking. And he, every day, because he sat beside me, we would have, conversations. And one day he was like, you're too smart to not go to college. He was like, I can't believe you never went to college. And I was like, I really didn't really have a need to. I just came to this government job. And so he was like, I really think, you would really have you ever tried applying at Howard? Have you ever tried to apply at Bowie? And I was like, I really haven't. And so, so as the, months progressed, he and I started talking more and more. He revealed that he liked me and we started dating. And so, he said, I'm going to take you to Bowie and you're going to apply at Bowie State University, because he was like, Jill, you got a brilliant mind. He took me to Bowie. I applied. He paid my first semester. And it was like a year. He left because he was a contractor. He left. We talked. It was like the weirdest breakup. And I knew he came into my life for a reason. So he came into my life. So I ended up, going to Bowie, and I was 26. And so I finished Bowie in 2000 when I was 30, 4 years later. And then I went straight to grad school. But I'm going to tell you what that did. It changed it tapped into a lifestyle that I did not know existed. So it went from number one to connecting and attracting people according to my faith, to number two, attracting people according to my lifestyle. At that point, I became an educator. Like I tapped into collegiate Jill, to intellectual Jill. I had never known that part of me. And so I tapped into that part of me. And so that's the type of guys I started. Like I knew exactly what type of guy I needed moving forward. And my past guys, they would call me bougie. They would call me, but I had tapped in the part that I didn't know. And that it was like, wow, this is a part of who I am. And that's the guys after that. I started like the guy who I thought I was going to marry. He was a VP of a bank. And then I was dating one time an attorney. And then it was just like, it was a different, because I started to know who I was. And so when Terrence came, it tapped into a whole nother part of me, because it tapped into the voice, Jill the voice. Like now being on here, like I would be smart. I could be smart, but I'm going to do things. I was always known as the strategist in the background. But now it's like it tapped me into vocal Jill, because I'm really an introvert. It's tapping me into creative Jill. And so when you really, dig deep into who you are, you'll know who you're compatible to, and you should not expect or receive anything less or anybody less than who you're compatible with.
Yeah.
But you only know it if you live, if you know what I mean, if you know and believe who you are spiritually, know who you are in the Lord. That's where it comes from, and there's still a lot of more growing. And I think that's what I love about marriage, because marriage, it's like you start to like discover new things about yourself. It's like, and we can do it together. It's like, what? We like that?
And the one thing that I want to piggyback on that you just said is that while y'all are doing or listening to this, understand it. And I don't want to jump back on another video, but when we talked about your gifts, talents, and skills,
yes,
that's one way you're going to meet someone that you're compatible with. Because while you're doing those things, the people that's going to be around you are the people that are compatible in that area with you. So that's how you're going to be meeting this. So tapping into your gifts, talents, and skills is going to help you meet the person that you're compatible with, because they're going to have that in common.
And it's going to enhance your lifestyle.
Yes.
It's going to really enhance your lifestyle. Just like, people who didn't realize they like to travel or they like to paint and they like to, it's going to create your lifestyle.
Exactly. So yeah, it's so much. It's so much, but we have actually overlooked this for so long.
Yeah, we took it for granted. We really did take it for granted.
We've been doing this channel for 5 years, and this is the first time we talked about.
Yeah, we took it for granted. Like a lot of them don't understand compatibility. That's what it was.
And believe me, there are so many more areas that you can be compatible with someone in. This is just 4 that
the core 4. Yeah, like if you got these 4,
you got a foundation.
You got pretty much a foundation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But there's other ways to be compatible in that. Like you got to really dig deep. You don't want to just, you don't want to be a square and trying to make it work with a rectangle. Yeah. It looks the same. It looks like 4 sides, but it ain't, And let me tell you the difference between compatibility and preference. Compatibility says he went to college, I went to college. Compatibility says he went to a HBCU, I went to a HBCU. Preference says I only want to date someone who went to college, or I only want to date someone or marry someone who went to an HBCU. That's the difference between compatibility and preference. Mm-hmm. One is by default. The other is by choice. And so if you think you keep attracting the wrong person, it's because you don't understand who you're compatible with. And it's because you don't understand you.
And when you don't understand you don't even treat yourself the way you're supposed to be treated.
Oh my gosh.
Which means that's another reason why people mistreat you, because they're just going off of your lead. When you mistreat yourself, they say, oh, that's okay. I'm going to treat it the same way then.
Yeah.
Exact same way. So you need to know who you are and treat yourself the way you desire to be treated. So when other people meet you, they will see who you are, they will learn who you are, and they will treat you accordingly. Because you're already setting the example.
That's right. You loving yourself well. And that is in the Word of God. Love others as yourself.
Love yourself. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So these 4 areas can make a huge difference in the quality of person that you meet, the quality of person that you marry, but also the quality of life that you have.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
So don't take it for granted. And if you haven't thought about it before this video, please sit down and think about it and start figuring out who you are.
And we're not pushing eHarmony, but so one of the things I do like about that site, that dating site, is because it has a what you call it, the assessment. Mm-hmm. The assessment takes so long to complete. It asks you so many questions about yourself that it really makes you say, well, let me think about myself. It really makes you think about yourself. I remember years ago, because that's where I met my ex, on that site. Actually, the two guys before Terrence, I met on that site. But I remember it asked, what are the top 5 things you can't live without on a daily basis? And I had to really think about it. And I remember answering, I said, sweet tea, my BlackBerry, rose color scents, and I can't even think, but I remember sweet tea was up there. Sweet tea and my cell phone was up there, but it really made me think, like, I really can't go a day without these things. Yeah. And so it really makes you learn a lot about yourself, a lot. So,
yeah. And for anybody that ever think about going on a site like that, or any of the sites, that tells you right there, take your time.
Yes.
And fill out that account thing about your profile.
Yes.
And look, and if it takes you more than a day to do it, then take more than a day to do it. Don't rush it, because what you're putting is going to tell people who you are.
And it's going to match you accordingly with the,
Yeah, so don't trip about it. Don't rush through it. Don't try to hurry up because you're in a rush and you just want to get it done. Take your time and be honest. If you want to really find quality people that you're compatible with, you want to take your time with this and do it right.
I remember and so when the guy, guys, because anybody can search whoever and reach out to you, they would be reaching. They would say 57%, 57% compatible, and then on the profile, let's say he's a smoker. Like, dude, if you don't get out of here, we don't wait. You a smoker? And then he goes, yeah, I smoke a little because, you get bored. You just talk to these people because they reached out to you. Yeah, I smoke a little, tree every now and then. I'm like, deuces, dude. Like, I'm just being courteous at this point. I'm bored. But yeah, you really start to see, like, daggone, and when I'm compatible with this person. This thing say we 90% a match. Let me check this person out, because you'll be surprised. And that again, that's electronics. But that's why you should be operating outside of a dating. That's on the dating scene. That's how you should be, operating. But again, I think you would attract the person who you attract the right person. You'll be drawn to the right person based on you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that being said, we pray that this gets you to thinking.
Yes.
But we also pray that this actually takes you back to God. And
yes.
Again, as we say in every video,
seek Him.
Seek God advice about your own situation.
Yes.
And what His words say about your situation.
Yes. Pray about it.
Yes. Yep. And we look forward to seeing you guys in our next video.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.